Did you know that there is one of the most bizarre laws in the world for North Korea? According to this law, if a house in the country catches fire, the homeowner must remove a picture of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un from the fire before saving the lives of his family members. And if he doesn't, he's a criminal and imprisoned. It's just one of the laws of this country. We've seen a lot of video clips about North Korea, but have you ever wondered what life is like for a young person in this country? Join us to hear information about North Korea that will surprise you. This information was recently leaked by several tourists who had traveled there from this country. What is the situation of young people in North Korea? Like everywhere else in the world, the social class of young people is very important, but the class pop in North Korea is much greater. The child of an army general, for example, has a much better life than an ordinary young man. Young North Koreans sometimes see the plight of young foreigners in illegal foreign films that are smuggled in, and sometimes try to imitate them. But the freedom to cover up and make up in North Korea is limited, and even head shaving must be subject to the country's law. Cosmetics are not readily available to people. Cosmetics are contraband, and the same trafficker who delivers foreign films to people sells cosmetics. That too at great prices, because the smuggler is playing with his own life. Women and girls can only wear makeup at home, and if they come to town with makeup, they will never come home. The only type of makeup that is allowed is to pale lipstick. Assuming a woman slaps red lipstick on her lip, it would be interpreted as a capitalist act and she would go straight to jail. The colors of the clothes are supposed to be dark and pale colors, but the North Korean leader recently allowed young North Koreans to wear colored clothes as well. In North Korea, if you want to live European or American style, the fashion police are coming for you. North Korea is the only country with a special police that only handles fashion, makeup, and clothing. The name of this cop is Gyu Chalda. If a young man from North Korea is arrested by the fashion police, they take him to the city and put on a platform of scandal to show the public that everyone can see that the young man is a criminal or has to work as a construction worker for a long time. Now let's go to the school in North Korea and see what young people and teenagers are doing in school. First, you need to know that all schools are controlled by the state, but there's a good rule here, which is that education is free until the age of 16, and of course it is compulsory for everyone to go to school. But the problem is that every student from the age of 10 to the age of 16 has to choose their field of study. For example, if you want to become a musician, a footballer, or even a mathematician, you have to make a choice. And once you start working in that field, there's no turning back. So if you choose to be a footballer, you should definitely become a footballer. The North Korean government says 98% of the country's population is literate. Also, there are no non-government statistics. A huge portion of the lessons taught in schools are government-related. That means teaching patriotism to kids and also teaching students how to obey and support the Korean government. Some of the school books tell students that you don't have the right to do the slightest disrespect to the North Korean leader and his family for the rest of your life, because he's a holy person. That everyone becomes literate is great, but you can't believe the North Korean government statistics, because a lot of schools don't have funding and can't accept kids, and that's why some kids wander off. Some schools do not have heating and cooling facilities due to lack of funding, and books and writing software are not available. Whether you have studied or not studied by the age of 16, you must enlist at 17. Military service in North Korea is very long. Boys go into the military for 10 years and girls for 6 years. Of course, people who are professional athletes or scientific elite are exempt from going into military service to continue their careers. What are these teenagers and young people of their pastime now? If you are in North Korea's capital, Pyongyang, there are two attractions available to you. One cinema and the other bowling. But if you want to use these, you have to be among the privileged class in Pyongyang. which means that even people with a modest financial background can take advantage of this recreation because it's so expensive. 1% of Pyongyang's population is among the affluent class, and their salaries are somewhat higher, and maybe some saving as well. They can give their kids money in their pockets. It may seem normal to owe your child money, but in a country where the average monthly income is $10, giving your children money in your pocket is unusual. There are also a few coffee shops in Pyongyang where the customers of these coffee shops are kids of the same 1% who can go over there and buy a drink for $4, which is a lot of money and maybe a poor person's income for a month or two in North Korea. These kids are fine in North Korea. They're the only kids who can own a game console. Of course, don't think they have PlayStation 5. These end up having old generation Nintendos that won't even connect to internet. The main customers of smuggled films are young people who buy and watch Hollywood movies smuggled on flash drives. In 2018, some of these wealthy North Korean youth bought American music and wanted to listen to it, but one of them leaked it and the police arrested them all. 4 60-year-old and court sentenced to 1 year of forced labor. The court stressed that the hardest task would be given to the four. These young people were convicted, but sometime later, the North Korean leader allowed a Western music concert to take place and he and his entourage sat in front of a TV camera and watched the concert and no one imprisoned them. And it shows that the laws in this country have exceptions. This horrific life in North Korea has caused 30% of the country's population to become addicted to drugs. Addicts who are even under the age of 18. Most of these drugs are opium and its derivatives. North Korea is one of the world's opium producers and sells opium on the black market to make money and circumvent restrictions. The government has made it a new law to prevent even a small amount of this opium from entering the North Korean market, and the number of addicts will not increase. Any kind of relationship other than marriage is forbidden, and girls have to get married early and bear a lot of kids because North Korea's population is declining. If adult videos are discovered of someone, they will send them to prisons where no one has seen them. Girls and boys are strictly illegal to communicate unless they are married. Even taking a girl's hand before marriage is a crime. Only 25% of North Koreans have mobile phones. Their phones aren't smart, of course. Their phones are the kind of things that just as useful as making calls. But it's okay for the royal family to have mobile phones every day, and they have good internet access. A number of smugglers also bring smartphones from China, which are connected to China's network and can be used to reach the whole world. But if the buyer or seller of these phones is caught, they will have no fate but death. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Keep it up until the next video.